You are listening to Mostaccioli Murder, Book 1 of the Jade Sommer series. Written by Nicolette Pierce. Copyright 2020. Audio copyright 2025 by Pierced Heart Publishing. Digitally narrated with full cast of voices. Chapter 24. The next morning I still hadn't heard from Logan. I knew I shouldn't worry, but it didn't stop me from leaving him a voicemail that told him if he didn't call me within an hour, I'd have Nana hunt him down. If that didn't scare him into action, nothing would. But after an hour had passed, I called the station and was sent to his voicemail. "Where is he?" I wondered out loud as I hung up the phone.
Still trying to reach Logan?
Mila asked as she looked up from her spot at the kitchen table. "Yes, I'm getting worried."
For someone who says they're over Logan, you seem to care a lot. It's rather obvious you still have feelings for him.
I might not want to date him, but that doesn't mean I want him to come to any harm. I'll check with Ross. He's probably already released from the hospital and is downstairs staring at the budget again. After my shift at Mr. Lee's last night, Mom had filled me in that Ross had suffered from a bump on his head. He was kept overnight for observation.
I'll come with you.
Now, who is obvious?
I'll be totally obvious. Your brother is cute, and he's responsible. It's hard finding both those qualities in the same guy.
You've been dating the wrong guys, I said. Plenty have those qualities.
Oh yeah, and you found that guy?
Not yet, but I will. It's not like hunting for unicorns. Decent men do exist. However, right now, I'm quite happy on my own. Mila followed me as I walked downstairs and unlocked the back door to the kitchen. The office light was on, which was a good sign that Ross was there. I peeked inside the office and found him exactly where I thought he'd be. "How do you feel?" I asked.
Beyond a headache, I'm fine.
"Do you remember what happened?" Ross shook his head.
No, 1 minute I'm about to open the trunk, and the next, everything went black.
"Did the person steal anything?"
Just the cash out of my wallet.
Mila pushed past me.
You poor thing.
She felt his forehead.
Do you need ice?
That would be nice.
Mila hurried to the kitchen. "Have you heard from Logan?" I asked Ross.
No, why?
"I thought for sure he'd check on you. I've left messages for him and he hasn't responded."
He will when he has time.
"I have information about the case. He said he'd be in touch, but no one has heard from him. Where does he live now?"
If I tell you, will you go away? You're making my head throb.
"Yes, and I need to borrow your car." I still hadn't told anyone about the scooter, and so far no one had noticed it was missing. He set the keys on the desk without argument, and then scribbled Logan's address on a bit of paper and handed it to me. "Thank you."
You can thank me by going away.
Quietly backing out of the office before Ross changed his mind, I asked Mila, "Do you want to go to Logan's apartment with me?"
I'll stay here and take care of Ross.
I headed out the back to where Ross normally parked, just down the alley. It only took 10 minutes to reach Logan's apartment. Thankfully, someone was leaving just as I stepped up to the door. I snuck in, bypassing the secured entrance, and headed to the second floor. As I walked through the hall, I scanned the door numbers until I reached 2F. I knocked on the door and waited for a moment. When I didn't get an answer, I knocked again.
"Jade?"
A woman asked. I looked over to find Avery walking toward me.
"I thought that was you. What are you doing here?"
Her smile was strained. "I'm looking for Logan," I said. "Have you heard from him?" She shook her head.
"No, that's why I'm here. He said he'd meet up with me after work, but he never showed."
Whatever worry nagged at me before morphed into panic. Last time I heard from him was at a funeral. I think he was trailing a suspect. But who? Avery fumbled with her keys. I backed out of her way when I realized she was going to unlock Logan's door. So, they were at that stage of their relationship. Swapping keys was a level I wasn't comfortable knowing about. But since she was able to get into his apartment, I shoved any thoughts aside and followed her in. I don't know why I thought Logan's apartment would look exactly like the bachelor pad he and Ross had shared back in college. Here, no dartboards or beer cans sat around. No half bag of chips were stuffed between the thrift store couch cushions. It was clean and orderly. Light gray tones mixed with a soft blue accent made it a calming atmosphere. However, a lack of personal items surprised me. No photos on the walls. No clutter on the coffee table. Avery walked through the living room to what I assumed was the bedroom. I wasn't going to follow her.
Logan?
She called as she ducked into the room only to reappear a moment later.
He's not here.
I have to go, I said, hurrying out. I had no doubt in my mind something bad had happened to Logan.
Wait, where are you going?
To find answers. Can you call his station and tell them to start searching for him? I raced down the stairs into the car. If Logan was following a lead, he must have been getting too close for the killer's comfort. Maybe the killer felt the heat and took action. It was the only explanation I could come up with for Logan's disappearance. Logan wasn't the kind of person to just drop communication. But just what kind of action would the killer take? My stomach dropped as I thought of Wayne's body near the garbage. I didn't want that to become Logan's ending. I had too many questions, and I knew one person in particular that wasn't forthcoming in her answers. Gunning it to Sommer's apartment, I parked in a tow zone since no other spots in the area were open. Judging from the old picture of her and Wayne, she knew more about what was happening than she let on. I jogged to the buzzer and rang her apartment. As I waited, I texted Lily. Logan is MIA, possibly in danger. Find Landon and make him talk. I want to know what he knows. Lily didn't text back, which hopefully meant she was already working on finding Landon. Pressing the buzzer again, I waited, hoping that someone would walk out of the building so I could sneak inside. A few minutes later, I had my chance, and I snuck in. I ran up the staircase to Sommer's apartment and knocked on the door. Pressing my ear to the door, I listened for sounds. Was she gone? Just as I was about to back away, a noise caught my attention. It sounded like a heavy object being dragged. I banged on the door. Sommer, it's Jade. I know you're in there. I have a few questions. When she didn't answer the door, I added, I'm not going away, and I'll call the police if you don't open this door. Footsteps neared the door, and then it opened. The shades were drawn on all of the windows, drowning the apartment in darkness. Only one small lamp dimly lit the living room. Judging from her train wreck hair, she wasn't planning on leaving anytime soon. Logan is missing, and you know something about it, I said, entering into her apartment so she couldn't slam the door on me.
I don't know anything. I swear.
I pulled out my phone and showed her the old picture of her and Wayne. Try again. How long have you really known Wayne? She shook her head.
It's not what you think.
I'm thinking you murdered Wayne and Logan, I said. However, she wasn't at the funeral, which meant she probably wasn't the one Logan was tracking. But I was certain she was doing something shady.
No, I swear. I would never hurt anyone. I loved Wayne.
If you really loved him, you'll tell the truth so we can find his killer.
It's not that I don't want to. I can't.
Why?
Because I don't want to end up like him.
Her finger nervously twirled her hair. Tell me what you know. Another life is at stake. Sommer shook her head.
Logan's probably already dead. I'm not going to be next.
I tried not to react to her words, but a punch to the gut would have been less painful. You have 1 minute to tell me everything you know, or I'm calling the police. I guarantee they won't be kind when they find out you're withholding information on finding one of their own. For show, I dialed in the number and was about to press send when she stopped me.
I'll tell you. Just put your phone away.
I lowered my phone but kept it in my hand. I didn't trust her.
Wayne and I met in grade school. It was true what I told you about how he delivered pizza for me. We hadn't seen each other for a decade, and we reconnected. We fell in love. It was like we knew each other so well that things just clicked for us immediately.
Go on, I prompted when she paused.
I didn't know he had a drug problem. He never used when he was with me.
Then how did you find out?
Weird stuff kept happening.
Her fingers continued to play with her hair.
He received odd phone calls that would upset him. My grandmother's antique clock went missing. There were times he just didn't act like himself.
Her fingers were almost frantic as she twisted her hair.
You just know when someone is not okay, right?
And he confided in you?
Not at first. It was only when I threatened to break up with him that he finally admitted what was happening.
What was happening?
He admitted he had a drug addiction. He said he's been stealing things and pawning them. He promised to return my things as soon as he could. But he owed a lot of money to some guy.
Who?
I don't know. All I know is that Wayne was supposed to steal a vase and bring it to some guy, and the guy would forgive the debt Wayne had.
What kind of debt? She shook her head.
Wayne didn't tell me, but I suspected it was to cover drugs.
Then why did Wayne sell the vase to the pawn shop instead of giving it to the guy?
Wayne said the guy didn't show up, and Wayne needed money, so he pawned the vase instead. And then, well, they killed him.
Do you know anything about his contact?
No, I asked, but Wayne refused to tell me. Said he didn't want me to get mixed up in it.
Before I left, I asked, "What were you moving before you let me in?" It sounded like you were dragging something heavy. She pointed to a trunk off to the side.
I was moving it to block the door.
If you are this afraid for your life, why stay here?
I have nowhere else to go.
No friends or family?
Not really. None that would want to see me anyway.
Without Wayne, she had no one. A part of me felt sorry for her. One more question, I said. Who was the third kid in the photo?
Oh, that's Lars.
The chef? Sommer nodded.
He's the one who got Wayne the job at the restaurant.
Would he also be the one sleeping with Jalen? Sommer looked thoughtful for a moment.
I don't know for sure, but it's possible. Wayne and Lars always competed with each other as kids. Sometimes it got out of hand and they wouldn't speak to each other for a long time. That's what split up our group in grade school.
I swapped phone numbers with Sommer in case I needed to talk to her again. As I reached the sidewalk, I called Mila.
Hey,
She answered after the first ring. If I call you with information, can you start a board for me? Kind of like what Nana was doing, but with less vandalism.
sure, I think there is an app that helps with that.
I rattled off the information from Sommer as Mila took notes. I'm heading over to Jalen's now, I said.
Okay, but send me permission to track your phone in case something happens. It's better to be safe than sorry.
I really hoped nothing happened, but Mila was right. I'll send it right now. Can you walk across the street and check on Lily? I asked her to find Lan. I haven't heard back from her.
Will do.
Now, I just needed to shake down a pregnant woman.